So my colleague hit on me, and he said it's easier for me. So just let me remind him that there were at least double the number of no-party candidates on the ballot. And if it were easier for us, then I would not be the only one from the St. Thomas St. John district that was elected. The only no-party candidate that was elected. So I don't think it may help you with the petition, but certainly we know the power of the parties. And we know that the first measure is going to pass, right? So you all know that, right? You listen to the votes, and the first measure is going to pass, and the Democrats are going to vote for it. I just want to come back to the case because the chairman is correct that the district court said that the statute is silent, but there's nowhere there a discussion of a loophole. What it concluded is that the silence is not ambiguous, that the legislature of the Virgin Islands required the use of political parties in other sections of the nomination process, and it expressly excluded it from this section. And so the question we come back to is what is to be accomplished by changing it? So we had a discussion about political philosophy, and the voters are very often confused. They call in and they ask, what do we mean by a Democrat? What do we mean by a Republican? And what do we mean by an ICM? So we live in a society where public entities like the university, the Wang Louis Hospital, can employ people at the top at $400,000 a year. And we have people going home from government service making $20,000 a year, retiring on 75% of that, which comes to $15,000. Most people would say that's not a democratic ideal. And our institutions are largely controlled by the democratic philosophy. And our same body here would vote to bring in federal employees and pay them maybe $200,000 and $300,000 a year for their work, and pay our commissioners on par with them $85,000. And a lot of people would argue that's a very Republican ideal. And if we went back in our history, Governor Mapp was once a Republican, right? And I think when Potter ran, he was an independent when he ran for the Senate. So what is the philosophy between these two people when they appear to run for governor and lieutenant governor that we are trying to identify, protect, and preserve? It's largely absent. That's why the voters have to ask us what it means. What is the political philosophy of a Democrat? What do all these people who run as Democrats have in common? If you go through their party platforms, I'm sure they take different positions on the issues. There's no one coherent, consistent ICM political philosophy, Democratic political philosophy, Republican philosophy, at least as we experience it here. And again, I close as I started. The more people who run, the better it is. The more ideas that come to the table, the better it is for us. And we should not make it more difficult for people to run. We should make it confusing. And the section specifically speaks to making sure that there's no confusion between the people running and who might feign attachment to a political party when there is none. It does not say that people should be precluded because the team consists of members that have different party affiliations. And we are making a decision here today to say, no, this shouldn't occur. And why? Just because they don't represent the same party, just because there's not a symbol there that says they are the same, the ideology is not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. So we come back to the place, what is the problem? And if there's no problem, why are we fixing it? Why we need to make it to more signatures for people to come on the ballot? Why? Let the people choose. Let the people decide. That's what it should be. Let the people decide.
Time.
There are times when I think too, Mr. Chair, if I could just conclude, there are times that I think too that sections of the code are archaic. But not just because they've been there a long time and you should throw them out. doesn't mean necessarily there's anything wrong with them just because they have said that for a long time. The people who sat here before us had good ideas. The people on whose shoulders we stand had good ideas. We shouldn't just change them just because. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you,